Hello class, I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks for working on collage. So here out on the table you can see that I have already gone through some magazines and picked out a bunch of things that were interesting to me that I could possibly use for my collage. And I just tore out the whole page, and I did this from my seat. I was just sitting here. I might be able to use this, I might be able to use that, and I just tear out the whole sheet. And then after I did that, I actually went through and I've already kind of organized these things. Even if I don't know exactly what my project is going to be, it helps to kind of organize everything. So I organize mine in a couple of different ways. In a stack over here I have things that are organized kind of by color and by pattern. These are kind of flat patterns that I think could be useful. These are basically flat colors that I think could be useful if I was going to be just doing shapes and colors. And then sometimes I organize by texture. Like over here I have textures that are very much cityscapes and kind of similar in value and color. I have a pile that's got some objects in it, things that I might cut out and actually use as the object that it is, like a motorcycle. And here I have some more geometric patterns. And color palette wise, they're also similar to these oranges, which is why I had them kind of together, organized on this side. Here I have some colors and patterns that I think might be able to go together, though I'm not sure how yet. I've got some earthy tones here. I might be able to make a background with that. I really like that pattern. And here I have patterns and colors that are mostly aquatic, but I was interested in the textures primarily. And so I've kind of organized the colors so that they're similar. So when I start cutting things out, I might be able to use these things together somehow to build something. Okay. So that's kind of more nature oriented. And over here I kind of started this own separate pile. These are anatomical studies. What's kind of interesting to me is after the fact, after I'd cut this out, and I kind of looked at this diagnostic for a car, they seemed kind of similar to me, so maybe I'll end up using these together somehow to make some sort of statement about movement and the evolution of movement. So that could be interesting. And then over here, I've got faces, and I think I could maybe use these in a combination somehow to make some different faces. I'm not sure exactly how yet, but having it kind of laid out will help me to kind of move from here. So my next step is going to be that I'm going to start cutting things out and being a little bit more precise with it. And I might do several different types of collage here. I might do a surrealist collage, kind of a dreamscape thing, still with a theme though. I might try to make a social statement. I've got lots of nature stuff. Maybe I'll do one on environmentalism. But I also might try to make a collage just based off of color, shape, and value. And I'll show you just one of my paintings. Some of you have seen it in class already, where I used shape and value and color to do a mixed media collage. So I'll grab that real quick. So here's one. I had a live model for this one. I was just watching them as they posed for me. I did an underdrawing first, which is pretty typical for a starting point. I then went in with just a really muted color palette, a monochromatic color palette, just grayish purples. And I matched light to darks. And this particular model had a very bright light shining on them, and I decided to do that part with cut paper. So these pieces are cut paper that I've gone in and posted on top. I followed a similar process for this one. I had a live model, I did an underdrawing, After the underdrawing, I did a very muted value scale painting, just looking for lights and darks. And then I did the same thing. I already had magazine clippings kind of already cut out with the basic colors that I knew I was going to need, and I just matched the different shades. And the difference on this one is that I also painted on top of that once I'd collaged on it. So there's lots of different ways that you can go about doing this. You can, of course, just use the found images that you've got from magazines and whatnot to cut those shapes out and make something. But whatever you do, it should be cohesive. It should feel like it fits together. If it's a surrealism piece, it should feel very dreamlike, but the place that everything is in should also make sense. The environment that it's in should make sense. If you do a social issue, it should be clear to the viewer what it is, what message you're trying to convey to them. You can use text lettering if you like to. Perhaps you can get your message across without any words, but any of those things are okay. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead now and start just cutting some stuff out. Okay, so after kind of fidgeting around for quite some time, I think I pretty well have a layout that I'm satisfied with, so I am going to start gluing things down. I have taken a photograph of my layout the way that I want it, just to make sure that I don't really forget how I put things on or whatnot. So now I kind of have to go in reverse order on this. I'm going to start putting things together. Okay. There's my background. Okay, a couple of things I want to go over. Application. You can use a glue stick, that works great. If you're going to use liquid glue, don't apply glue straight onto your paper, it'll crinkle it up. You should put just the tiniest bit on like your finger or something else and then wipe it on the back of an object. I'm going to do the same thing with rubber cement here. Rookie mistake with rubber cement is to just put way too much rubber cement on. So you want it to be almost completely wiped clean of the rubber cement that's on there, almost completely empty, no globs. You want a surface underneath it so that you can just spread and go right off the edge of the surface. So you have glue all the way to the edge. I've got a paper towel beneath it. Grab a little bit more if I need, but the key to rubber cement is not to put too much rubber cement on. And the same can be said of liquid glue. Glue sticks are much easier to just evenly apply. The nice thing with rubber cement is you can actually reapply it if you need to. It's a material that you can actually peel up pretty easily and reapply. You don't want crinkles and stuff in your paper. That'll ruin the aesthetic. Okay. I'm just putting in the lightest mark there so that I know exactly where I want this piece to go back on, since it has to go underneath.